Ryan stood outside the tall silver building near the spaceport, holding a small bag over his shoulder. His search for a place to live had been long and tiring. Rent prices were high, and most apartments were already full. He had almost given up when a notice on the housing board caught his eye. Shared apartment available. Low cost. Contact immediately. The words gave him hope, and now here he was, waiting nervously in front of the door. The door opened with a soft hiss. Ryan expected to see another human, maybe a tired student or a worker like him. Instead, a tall figure with glowing blue eyes stepped forward. Her skin was pale with faint silver lines that shimmered when the light touched them. She was clearly not human. "I am Arya," she said in a calm voice. "You are here for the room." Ryan nodded, trying not to stare. He had seen aliens before, but he had never lived with one. "Yes, I'm Ryan. I saw the notice. The price is good. If the room is still free, I would like to stay." Arya studied him for a moment. Her expression was unreadable, but then she stepped aside. "You may come in." The apartment was simple but clean. The living room had 2 chairs, a small table, and a wide screen on the wall. A faint scent of strange herbs hung in the air. Ryan noticed that the shelves were filled with books and small crystal objects that pulsed with light. "This is my home," Arya said, walking ahead. "One room is empty. If you respect quiet and follow simple rules, we will not have problems." Ryan smiled nervously. "I don't make much noise. I work near the port. I just need a place to sleep and study. I can share chores." She tilted her head slightly, as if considering his words. Then she gave a small nod. "Very well. You may stay." Relief filled Ryan. He set his bag down and followed her to the spare room. The walls were plain, and the bed was simple, but to him it looked perfect. After so many weeks of searching, he finally had a place. The first days were strange. Ryan tried to be polite, but Arya's habits were unusual. She ate glowing fruit that gave off soft steam. She meditated for hours, sitting perfectly still while her skin markings shimmered like silver fire. She spoke little, but her words were always clear and direct. At first, Ryan felt out of place. He often worried he might offend her. One evening, he made soup and offered her a bowl. She sniffed it, then politely pushed it back. "I cannot eat this. My body does not accept your spices." Ryan felt embarrassed. "Sorry, I didn't know." She looked at him carefully. "It is not wrong to offer kindness. You may cook for yourself. I will not mind." That small moment of honesty made things easier between them. Slowly, they began to understand each other. Ryan learned that Arya was a student of alien history. She spent long hours reading both human and Viuri texts. She was curious about Earth, yet she often seemed distant, as if her mind lived in 2 worlds at once. One night, the power in the building failed. The lights went out, and the city outside grew dark. Ryan stumbled in the hall, but Arya's silver markings glowed brighter, lighting the way. She guided him to the balcony where the stars shone above the silent port. For the first time, Ryan felt less like a guest and more like a friend. "You do not fear me," Arya said softly, watching the stars. Ryan shook his head. "Why should I? You are just different. But different doesn't mean bad." Her eyes glowed faintly. For a moment, she almost smiled. "Many humans look at me with fear. You do not. That is rare." After that night, their bond grew stronger. They joked about noisy neighbors, shared stories about their daily struggles, and sometimes watched old human films on the wide screen. Arya did not always understand the humor, but she listened patiently as Ryan explained. Still, small mysteries surrounded her. Some evenings, she closed her door and would not come out until morning. Other times, her skin markings glowed brighter, and she seemed restless, pacing the room in silence. Ryan noticed these changes but chose not to ask. He respected her privacy, though curiosity burned quietly inside him. The days passed quickly. Ryan began to feel at home in the apartment. The spaceport was only a short walk away, and after work he would return to find Arya reading or preparing her strange glowing fruit. They were an odd pair, but somehow, it worked. Yet, beneath the calm surface of their daily life, something unseen was stirring. Arya's quiet glances, her late-night restlessness, and the faint glow of her skin were signs of something Ryan did not yet understand. For now, he thought she was just his unusual roommate, but the truth was far more complicated. And soon, that truth would turn their peaceful days into chaos. Life in the apartment slowly began to feel normal for Ryan. He went to work at the spaceport each morning, carrying packages, fixing small machines, and helping travelers find their way. In the evening, he returned to the quiet apartment where Arya usually sat with her books. At first, it was easy to think of her as just another student, serious and quiet. But as the weeks passed, Ryan began to notice changes. They were small at first, but soon impossible to ignore. Arya's skin markings, which usually shone faintly like silver lines, began to glow brighter. At night, the light spread across her arms and neck, almost like moving patterns. Sometimes Ryan woke in the middle of the night and saw the glow shining under her door. Her habits also changed. She no longer joined him for simple meals, not even for fruit or bread. Instead, she drank strange liquids from crystal containers that shimmered like melted light. Her appetite seemed smaller, and her movements sharper, more restless. One evening, Ryan found her standing on the balcony, staring at the stars. The silver glow covered half her face. Her hands gripped the railing tightly, as if she were fighting against something unseen. "Are you all right?" Ryan asked carefully. Arya turned, her eyes brighter than usual. For a moment, she looked like she might speak, but then she shook her head. "I am fine." Her voice was calm, but there was a weight behind it. Ryan did not push further, though curiosity grew inside him. The city itself began to change too. Posters and warning signs appeared near the spaceport, written in both human and alien languages. They mentioned safety guidelines during the season and advised avoiding large gatherings of certain alien groups. At work, Ryan overheard two alien dock workers speaking in hushed tones. "The Viore season is coming soon," one said, his antenna twitching. "Always trouble," the other muttered. "Clans grow restless, and fights break out. Best to stay indoors." Ryan frowned, realizing the word Viore referred to Arya's people. He wanted to ask her about it, but every time he tried, she avoided the subject. One night, after a long shift, he returned home to find Arya pacing the living room. The glow of her markings filled the room with soft light. She looked uneasy, almost anxious. "You've been different lately," Ryan said gently. "Is something wrong? If you're sick, maybe we can find a doctor." Arya stopped walking and looked at him with unreadable eyes. For a moment, he thought she might explain everything. But then she said only, "It is not an illness. Do not worry." Her tone was final, and Ryan decided not to push further. Still, the mystery grew heavier. The following week brought more tension. Outside the building, alien groups gathered in the streets, speaking in sharp voices. Human police and alien guards watched nervously, breaking up arguments before they turned violent. News screens reported rising clashes between Viore clans. One evening, as Ryan returned home, he saw a small group of Viore near the entrance of the building. Their markings glowed strongly, and they spoke quickly in their own language. When Arya stepped outside to meet Ryan, the group fell silent, staring at her with sharp interest. One of them hissed a few words, and Arya's face hardened. She pulled Ryan quickly into the building without explaining. Who were they? Ryan asked once the door closed behind them. No one important, she replied quickly. But her hands trembled slightly as she held them behind her back. The days that followed felt heavier. Arya spent more time locked in her room. Sometimes Ryan heard her voice, whispering words in the Viori language as if arguing with someone unseen. Other times, he heard nothing at all. Finally, one late night, Ryan's patience broke. He found her again on the balcony, the silver glow covering her arms like fire. You can't keep saying nothing is wrong, he said firmly. I can see it, Arya. Something is happening to you. If we're living together, I deserve to know. For a long moment, Arya stayed silent. Her eyes were on the stars, her face unreadable. Then she turned toward him. You are human, she said slowly. You cannot understand. My people are different. This is our time. Ryan frowned. What do you mean, your time? She shook her head. It is difficult to explain. A cycle. A season. It changes us, whether we wish it or not. Ryan took a step closer. Is that why everyone in the city is so tense? Why your people gather in groups? Arya did not answer directly. Instead, she whispered, almost to herself, the season always brings unrest. Old traditions rise, clans demand obedience, and peace becomes fragile. Her glow dimmed slightly, and she turned away. You must be careful, Ryan. Stay away from Viori gatherings. Promise me. Her voice carried both worry and urgency. Ryan hesitated but finally nodded. I promise. But, Arya, if you need help, you can trust me. Her silver eyes met his for a brief second, and for the first time, Ryan thought he saw fear hidden deep inside them. That night, as Ryan lay in bed, he could not sleep. The city outside was filled with distant shouts and flashing lights. He thought about Arya's glowing markings, the strange gatherings, and her warning. Something was happening, something bigger than just an alien roommate's strange habits. And Ryan had the uneasy feeling that whatever was coming, he was already caught in the middle of it. The city was no longer calm. Every day, Ryan noticed the streets becoming louder, more crowded, and more dangerous. Near the spaceport, groups of Viori gathered, their glowing markings bright and fierce. Sometimes they sang strange chants, and sometimes they argued in sharp voices that carried across the market. Human shopkeepers shut their stalls early, afraid that fights might break out. Warnings filled the news screens. Officials urged humans and aliens to stay indoors after sunset. Police drones circled overhead, scanning the streets. Still, the unrest grew. Ryan felt the change most strongly when he returned home. Arya's behavior had shifted again. She spoke less and kept her door locked for hours. When she did appear, her glow was brighter than ever, and her voice carried a sharper edge. One evening, as Ryan prepared dinner, he heard footsteps outside the door. Loud voices followed, speaking in the Viori tongue. He peeked through the small viewer and saw 3 Viori standing in the hallway. Their markings pulsed like beating hearts. Arya walked past him and opened the door. The 3 aliens bowed their heads slightly, then spoke quickly. Ryan could not understand the words, but he saw the tension in Arya's face. I told you I would not return, Arya said firmly in her own language, but then she switched to English so Ryan could understand. Leave. This is not your concern. One of the visitors hissed, pointing at her glowing markings. Arya's eyes narrowed, and her voice turned colder. I said leave. The Viori finally retreated, but their stares were sharp, and Ryan felt a chill as the door closed. Arya, he asked carefully, what do they want from you? Her answer was short. They want what I will not give. She walked away without another word. The next day at work, Ryan could not stop thinking about her. Curiosity burned inside him. He remembered the words she had said before, about a season that changed her people. What did it mean? Why did it make her clan seek her out? That evening, instead of going straight home, he decided to take a longer route through the market. He followed the sound of chanting until he reached a wide square near the old tower. There, dozens of Vyuri had gathered. Their glowing markings lit the night, and their voices rose together in a strange rhythm. Ryan stayed at the edge of the crowd, trying not to be noticed. He heard words repeated again and again, something about unity, tradition, and bonds. It was not just a meeting. It felt like a ritual. Suddenly, a fight broke out. Two groups of Vyuri shouted at each other, their chants breaking apart into angry cries. Someone threw a bottle, and the crowd erupted into chaos. Humans nearby ran in fear as the glowing aliens clashed in the street. Ryan backed away quickly, his heart racing. Police drones flew overhead, ordering everyone to disperse, but the fighting continued. He turned and ran through a side street until he finally reached his apartment. When he opened the door, Arya was waiting, her glow bright and restless. "You were not home," she said sharply. "I just walked through the market," Ryan admitted. "I saw. I don't know what it was, but it was dangerous. People were fighting." Arya's eyes darkened. "I told you to stay away. The season is not safe. Not for you, not even for me." Ryan felt a mix of fear and frustration. "Then tell me the truth. I can't keep living here blind. What is the season? Why are they fighting? Why are they coming to you?" For a long time, Arya said nothing. She stood by the window, her glowing markings spreading like rivers of silver across her skin. Finally, she spoke in a low voice. "The Vyuri are bound by cycles. Every few years, a season begins. It is both biological and cultural. It changes us, makes our emotions stronger, and awakens old traditions. Clans use this time to demand loyalty, to choose leaders, and to decide bonds. Those who refuse are seen as traitors." Ryan frowned. "And you? Where do you fit into this?" Her hands tightened on the window frame. "My clan wants me to take part. They want me to follow the old path. But I do not agree. I came to Earth to study, to choose my own life. Yet the season follows me. They see my glow and know who I am. They will not stop until I give in." Ryan's chest tightened. "That's why they came to the door. That's why they keep watching you." She nodded once. "Yes. And now you are caught in this too." Silence filled the room. Outside, distant shouts echoed through the streets, followed by the hum of patrol drones. The city was sliding deeper into unrest, and Ryan felt the weight of it pressing on him. He looked at Arya, who stood proud but weary, her silver glow filling the room like starlight. For the first time, he realized just how heavy her secret was. She was not only his roommate, she was someone standing against her entire culture, someone caught between freedom and tradition. "I don't care if it's dangerous," Ryan said finally. "You don't have to face this alone." Arya turned, surprise flickering in her eyes. For a moment, the glow on her skin softened. She gave a slow nod, as if his words carried more weight than she expected. "Then stay close," she said quietly. "The chaos has only just begun." The apartment was quiet, but the silence carried tension. Outside, the city remained restless. Patrol drones buzzed in the night sky, and distant voices rose from the streets as Vyuri clans argued in hidden corners. Ryan sat at the table, waiting. Arya stood near the window, her silver glow tracing sharp lines across her arms and face. She looked like a figure made of starlight, but her expression was heavy. "You asked for truth," she said at last. "It is time I give it to you." Ryan leaned forward, his hands resting on the table. I just want to understand. You don't have to hide it anymore. Arya turned slowly. My people are the Vyuri. We are bound by cycles that shape us. Every few years, our bodies and minds change. Our energy rises, our emotions sharpen, and our markings glow. It is called the mating season, but it is more than biology. It is also tradition, power, and control. She walked to the table and sat opposite him. The glow of her skin lit the space between them. During this time, clans demand their members take part in rituals. They use the season to arrange bonds, unite families, and secure alliances. It has been this way for centuries. Ryan frowned. So it's like a tradition that no one can escape. Arya nodded slowly. Yes. Most accept it. Many even celebrate it. But I do not. I was born into a strong clan, one that values power and influence. They look at my glow and see a symbol of authority. They want me to join with another Vyuri, to strengthen the clan. If I refuse, they will see me as a traitor. Her voice grew colder. They have already found me here. Those who came to the door were not strangers. They were my own kin. Ryan felt a chill run down his spine. Your own people are trying to force you. Her silver eyes met his. Yes. That is why I came to Earth. Here, I thought I could be free. I wanted to learn, to study human ways, to make choices for myself. But the season follows me. I cannot hide the glow. It marks me wherever I go. For a long moment, Ryan said nothing. He thought of the glowing crowds in the streets, the fights in the market, the warnings from the authorities. Now it all made sense. The season was not just a private matter. It was a storm that spread across the city, pulling everyone into its path. But you don't want that, Ryan said firmly. You don't want to follow their traditions. Arya's voice softened. No, I respect my people, but I believe freedom matters more than rules written in the past. Humans taught me that. I watched your films, read your history. You fight for choice, even when the cost is high. That inspired me. Ryan blinked, surprised. He had never thought his simple human life could inspire someone from another world. But hearing her say it, he felt both proud and uneasy. What will you do now? He asked. Arya looked away, her glow dimming. I do not know. My clan will not stop. They will try again. And the city will only grow more dangerous. If I stand against them, I will need help. Ryan hesitated, then said, then you have my help. Her eyes widened slightly. Ryan, you are human. You do not understand how deep this goes. It could bring danger to you. He shook his head. I don't care. You're my friend. You stood by me when I was just a stranger looking for a home. I won't leave you to face this alone. For the first time in days, Arya's expression softened into a faint smile. The glow on her skin grew warmer, less sharp. Then you are braver than many of my own kind. The following days tested that promise. Clashes in the city became more violent. Entire districts were blocked by guards. Human and alien families locked themselves indoors at night. Rumors spread that some Vyuri clans were planning open confrontations. Ryan and Arya moved carefully, avoiding crowded streets. But even in the safety of their apartment, tension pressed close. Arya's glow grew brighter each night, a constant reminder of the season. One evening, Ryan returned from work to find Arya waiting with a crystal tablet. Symbols pulsed across its surface. I received a message, she said quietly. From the clan leader himself. Ryan sat down slowly. What does it say? She placed the tablet on the table. The symbols shifted into translated words. Arya, daughter of the Vyuri, you cannot escape the cycle. Return to us. If you continue to resist, we will come for you. Ryan read the message twice, his stomach sinking. They're threatening you. Arya nodded. Yes. And they mean it? The next time they come, it will not be words. It will be force. Ryan clenched his fists. Then we have to be ready. We can't just wait for them. Arya studied him carefully. You are only one human. What can you do against a clan? Ryan met her gaze firmly. Maybe not much alone. But I can try. And maybe others will listen too. You said humans fight for choice. Then let's fight for yours. Arya's eyes glowed brighter, filled with both worry and hope. Slowly, she nodded. Then together, she whispered. That night, as the city rumbled with distant unrest, Ryan and Arya sat side by side, making plans. Secrets had been revealed, and the path ahead was dangerous. But they were no longer just two strangers sharing an apartment. They were allies. And together, they would face whatever chaos the season brought next. The city grew darker with each passing day. Shops closed early, streets emptied quickly, and warning signs flashed across every news screen. The season had reached its peak, and the Viori clans were restless. Humans whispered about strange gatherings, while patrol drones filled the skies. Inside the apartment, Ryan and Arya sat at the small table, planning in hushed voices. The message from Arya's clan still burned in their minds. They knew her people would not stop until they forced her to obey. They will come again, Arya said, her silver glow flickering across her arms. This time, they will not ask. They will demand. Ryan leaned forward, determination in his eyes. Then we can't let them find you. We'll hide you, at least until the season ends. Arya shook her head slowly. It is not so simple. My glow grows brighter every night. I cannot turn it off. They can track me, even through walls. Hiding may delay them, but it will not stop them. Ryan thought hard. Then we blend you into human crowds. If you can't hide your glow, we distract them with noise, light, and movement. They won't be able to see you clearly. Arya raised an eyebrow. Blend me into humans. How? Ryan grinned slightly. There's a festival this week. A human celebration. Music, lanterns, glowing paint everywhere. If we go, your glow will not stand out. Everyone will be shining. For a moment, Arya's serious face softened. You humans always find strange solutions. Yet, perhaps it will work. The night of the festival arrived. Streets near the central square were filled with lights, music, and laughter. Humans wore bright clothes and painted glowing patterns on their faces. Lanterns floated high into the sky like tiny stars. Ryan and Arya moved carefully through the crowd. Ryan had painted silver lines on his own skin to match her glow. Arya, wrapped in a simple cloak, looked almost like another human with glowing decorations. For once, her markings did not draw unwanted attention. This is strange, Arya admitted as she watched children dance with glowing sticks. Your people celebrate for joy, not duty. It feels free. That's the point, Ryan said with a smile. Here, no one tells you how to shine. You shine because you choose to. For a short time, they almost forgot the danger. They walked among lanterns, listened to music, and laughed at clumsy dancers. But the peace did not last. Ryan noticed a group of Viori at the edge of the square. Their markings glowed sharply, and their eyes scanned the crowd with purpose. His heart sank. They're here, he whispered. Arya's body tensed. Then we must move. They slipped deeper into the festival, weaving through laughing crowds and flashing lights. The music grew louder, and lanterns painted the night with color. But the Viori followed, pushing aside humans who did not understand their anger. Finally, in a narrow alley behind the square, The pursuers caught them. 4 Viori stepped forward, blocking the way. Their glow was fierce, like fire in the night. Arya, one of them said, his voice sharp. Daughter of the Viori, your time of choice has come. You cannot deny the cycle. Return to us. Arya lifted her head proudly. I will not. My path is mine alone. The Viori hissed in anger. You shame your clan. You reject your blood. Ryan stepped in front of her before he could stop himself. She doesn't belong to you. She chooses her own life. The Viori turned their sharp eyes on him, their glow flaring. A human dares to speak, one snarled. This is not your matter. It is my matter, Ryan said firmly. Because she is my friend. And because freedom belongs to everyone, not just humans. For a moment, the alley was silent except for the faint music drifting from the square. The Viori looked at each other, their glow flickering with unease. Arya's markings brightened, filling the alley with silver light. You see, she said, her voice steady. Even humans understand what you do not. Choice is not weakness. It is strength. The leader of the group growled. You will regret this defiance. With those words, they stepped back into the shadows, their glow fading as they disappeared into the night. Ryan let out a long breath he hadn't realized he was holding. That was too close. Arya's glow softened, her eyes filled with both gratitude and sorrow. You risked yourself for me. That was not your fight. Ryan shook his head. It was. You don't deserve to be forced. No one does. For the first time, Arya allowed herself a small smile. You humans are strange. You fight even when the odds are against you. Perhaps that is why I admire your kind. They walked back toward the festival, blending once again into the glowing crowd. But both knew the danger was far from over. Arya's clan would return, stronger and more determined. The season was not ending, it was only reaching its peak. Still, as lanterns floated above them and music filled the night, Arya felt a new kind of strength within her. It was not the forced power of tradition, but the quiet courage of choice. And beside her, Ryan walked without fear, ready to face whatever came next. The days that followed the festival grew heavier. The city was no longer only restless, it was burning with tension. Clashes broke out between Viori clans in the markets and at the spaceport gates. Patrol drones filled the skies, their bright lights cutting across the darkness as they tried to control the crowds. For humans, the season was frightening. Many locked themselves indoors, whispering of alien fights that erupted without warning. Shops near the center closed completely. The sound of chants and arguments carried through the streets at night. Inside the apartment, Ryan and Arya listened to the city's chaos. Arya's glow filled the small living room, brighter than ever before. It painted silver patterns across the walls, impossible to hide. They will come again, she said quietly. And next time, they will not leave without me. Ryan leaned forward. Then we face them. Not in the shadows. Not in alleys. We face them in the open, where everyone can see. Arya looked at him in surprise. You would stand against a Viori clan in public? Yes, Ryan said firmly. If they try to force you, people should know. Humans and other aliens need to see that not all Viori follow the old ways. If you speak out, maybe others like you will find the courage to do the same. Her eyes softened. You speak like a leader, Ryan. But you are only human. Why risk so much? Because you're my friend, he replied. And because freedom isn't just for humans. It's for everyone. The chance came sooner than they expected. A great gathering was called in the main square, where the clans would meet under the watch of city guards. The air was filled with voices and glowing lights as hundreds of Viori gathered, their markings bright and alive. Humans stood at the edges, watching with unease. Ryan and Arya stepped into the square together. Immediately, heads turned. Arya's glow was stronger than most, her patterns flowing across her skin like rivers of silver. Her presence alone drew attention. Her clan stood at the front, their leader tall and stern, his glow burning like fire. He raised his voice so all could hear. Arya, daughter of our blood, you have run long enough. Tonight you return to us. The season demands it. Tradition demands it. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Some Vyori nodded in agreement, while others looked uncertain. Arya stepped forward, her voice clear and strong. I will not return. I will not follow rules written before my birth. My path is mine, and no clan has the right to take it from me. Gasps filled the square. Some shouted angrily, others cheered softly. Her clan leader's markings flared. You speak like a traitor. You shame us before humans and aliens alike. At that, Ryan stepped beside her, raising his voice. She isn't a traitor. She's brave enough to choose her own life. That's what makes her strong. The crowd stirred again. Humans at the edges began recording on their devices. Other aliens whispered to each other. The message was spreading. The leader pointed at Ryan. And you, human, you meddle in matters beyond you. This is not your fight. Ryan shook his head. It is my fight. Because freedom is not just for humans, it's for all people. If Arya's clan can force her, then no one is safe from control. If you call yourself strong, then prove it by allowing choice, not by taking it away. The square fell silent. Even the patrol drones hovered quietly, recording every word. Arya lifted her head proudly. You see? Even an outsider understands what you refuse to see. The old ways bind us like chains. I will not wear them. Her glow flared brighter, lighting the entire square. In that moment, she looked less like a student and more like a symbol of defiance. Her clan leader snarled. Enough. If you will not obey, then we will take you by force. The clan surged forward, their glow blazing. But before they could reach her, others stepped between. A group of younger Vyori, their markings dim but steady, raised their hands. No more, one said firmly. She is right. We are tired of being told who we must be. We will not fight for chains. The crowd erupted. Some sided with Arya, some with the leader, and chaos filled the square. Shouts turned to clashes, and silver light flashed against silver light as the uprising began. Ryan grabbed Arya's arm. We have to show them the truth. Speak to everyone. Let them hear you. Arya nodded, her eyes fierce. She climbed onto a platform and raised her voice above the noise. Vyori, hear me. The season does not have to control us. We are more than our cycles. We are more than our clans. We are free to choose who we are. If you want a future, take it with your own hands, not with chains. Her words spread through the crowd like fire. Some stopped fighting. Some lifted their voices in support. Humans and aliens watching from the edges began to cheer. Even the patrol drones projected her voice across the square, amplifying her message. The leader tried to silence her, but his own clan members hesitated. The city guards stepped forward, separating the sides. The uprising did not end cleanly, but it forced a pause. For the first time, the clan's control was shaken. When the crowd finally scattered, the city was left in uneasy silence. But something had changed. Arya's stand had been seen. Her voice had reached not only her people but humans and other aliens as well. Back at the apartment, Arya sank into a chair, exhausted. Her glow was faint now, dimmed by the effort. Ryan sat across from her. You did it? They can't ignore you anymore. Arya closed her eyes for a moment, then looked at him. This is only the beginning. But today, I was not alone. You stood with me. That gave me strength. Ryan smiled faintly. Then we'll keep standing, together. And though the city still echoed with unrest, both of them knew a new future had begun. The city felt different after the uprising. The main square, once a place of control, had become a stage of change. Arya's words had spread far beyond that night. News channels replayed her speech again and again, and recordings were shared across stations and planets. Humans, Viori, and other species discussed the meaning of freedom, not only as an idea, but as something worth fighting for. But victory was not simple. The Viori clans were angry. Some leaders gathered in secret, whispering about ways to regain their control. Others, especially the young, spoke openly in favor of Arya. The season of glowing lights no longer looked the same. For some, it was still tradition. For others, it was the start of rebellion. In the apartment, Ryan and Arya sat across from each other. The glow around her had softened. It no longer pulsed wildly as it had during the height of the season. Now it was gentle, like moonlight on still water. They will not stop, Arya said quietly. The old leaders will fight to hold on. Even if I spoke to thousands, there are still many who fear change. Ryan leaned back in his chair. That's always how it is. Change doesn't come in one night. But what you did showed people a different path. You gave them a choice. She studied him with thoughtful eyes. You always speak as if freedom is simple. It isn't simple, Ryan admitted. But it's worth the struggle. And now you're not alone. Did you see those young Viori stand with you? They'll remember what they felt that night. They'll carry it forward. A small smile touched her lips. You have hope even when everything is uncertain. Maybe that's a human flaw, Ryan replied, half joking. But sometimes flaws are what keep us going. Over the next weeks, the city became a place of debates. Gatherings formed in parks, cafes, and lecture halls. Viori students and workers spoke about their rights, while elders tried to defend the old traditions. Humans listened carefully, some offering support, others worried about being drawn into alien conflicts. One evening, Arya was invited to speak at the university. The hall was filled with both Viori and humans. Ryan sat in the crowd, watching as she stood at the front, her glow lighting the stage. I do not wish to destroy my people's past, she said calmly. But I will not allow the past to destroy our future. We can honor our ancestors without letting their rules control every step of our lives. Choice is not weakness. It is strength. The room erupted in applause. For many young Viori, it was the first time they had heard one of their own reject the cycle so openly. Ryan felt proud. She was no longer only his roommate, no longer only his friend. She was becoming a symbol for her people, someone brave enough to stand where others feared to stand. Yet, danger remained. One night, as they returned to the apartment, a message flickered on their door. The letters glowed with sharp red light, tradition will not die. Beware. Ryan frowned as he read it. They're trying to scare you. Arya touched the message, and it dissolved into sparks. Fear is their weapon. But I will not bend to it. Still, Ryan could see the weight on her shoulders. She had started something larger than either of them, and now they carried the risk together. The final days of the season came at last. The lights of the Viori began to fade, the cycle reaching its end. The city grew calmer, though the memory of the uprising lingered in every conversation. On the rooftop of their building, Arya and Ryan watched the stars together. The sky was clear, the constellations sharp and bright. For the first time in weeks, there was peace between them. Do you ever regret it? Ryan asked softly. Speaking out, standing against them. Arya shook her head. No. Even if it is hard, even if danger follows, I would not choose silence. Silence is another chain. and I will never wear chains again. Her glow flickered, softer now but still beautiful. Ryan felt a quiet respect for her. She was not just his alien roommate anymore. She was someone who had changed the course of her people's future. You know, Ryan said after a pause, when you first moved in, I thought you were just quiet and mysterious. I didn't know you would turn my life upside down. Arya laughed gently. And I thought you were only a human with loud music and messy habits. But you taught me what courage looks like. They both smiled, the weight between them eased for a moment. As the season ended, so did one chapter of their lives. But another was only beginning. The city would not return to what it had been. The clans could no longer pretend nothing had changed. And in the middle of it all, two unlikely friends stood together, stronger than before. Ryan looked up at the stars. The universe is wide. Maybe this is just the start. Maybe someday, we'll see more worlds, more people who need the same kind of hope. Arya followed his gaze. If that day comes, I will be ready. Not because I am Vyuri. Not because of tradition. But because I choose it. The words hung in the air like a promise. The night wind carried the scent of the city below, a mix of smoke, spice, and new beginnings. For the first time, Ryan felt that the chaos of the past weeks had been worth it. They had not only survived the season, they had changed it. And though danger still waited in the shadows, he knew they would face it side by side. Because she was no longer just his alien roommate. She was his friend, his partner in courage, and the start of something greater than either of them had imagined.